This is video introduction 2. We are now going to explain how, in general terms, the toxic gassing system of this house, of this Unbeing torture house works. First, in general terms, the particular aspects will be talked about as architectural features in specific videos. Alright, this is the balcony. This is the main spot for the toxic gas in situ generation system. This means that this toxic gassing system generates toxic gas in situ. They don't need toxic gas tanks, although you saw butane there. Well, in the particular case of carbon monoxide, they do need butane tanks. But the ones that you really use, they're often in the roof. And right now they are not using carbon monoxide at all because they know that I can simply go to a lab and get a test and I will show the carbon monoxide poisoning. And I know the symptoms of carbon monoxide, and so, well, they are not doing it now. What they are doing right now is mostly chlorine. Well, let's explain how they are able to generate this. This house was designed, engineered, architectonically designed for torture. It is a whole mass personhood extermination site, as I already mentioned in the first introduction video. How they are doing this? Well, the main toxic gas chambers are on the ground. They are here. How do we know they are here? We will explain that later, but for now, no, they are here. They need several key aspects to have toxic gas chambers in this point. The first key aspect, very basic, they need a recharge point. A point where they can release tablets, salts, whatever they need to release the toxic gas to each toxic gas chamber. They do have a release point here. Not the only one, as we will explain later, but they do have one here. It's this one. This tube that you see here, in which I put the crown they gave me as happy birthday, because that is the kind of realeza, manipulating everything. Well, this, what they did. Wait a minute. They sealed it. It was able to be opened. I don't know what they did. They sealed it. It cannot be opened anymore. I was planning to seal it. They did it first. It's completely sealed. This was done today. I opened it last night. It is completely sealed. It was very easy to take it out. They sealed it. Well, this is the release point 1. As I said, there is other one, but I will explain that later. This one was very easily opened. That one is very sealed since the very beginning. This is meant to be the septic tank tube pipe. This one didn't even smell to septic tank. It smelled as nothing. All right. Now we set the first release point, the discharge point, to where they can get their chemicals. The other release point, we are going to explain it later because it's more complex to explain. You need more information to understand that. Now, they need water supply. How they are getting water supply? Well, the fact is that if you go around the House of Tortures, they have plenty of water bottles around. Here is one that you don't know for what they are using them. Here is the second one. This is supposedly the main valve of the house, the main water valve. The problem is, and I just let you know, you see that? That is a pressure meter. No domestic environment that is ordinary has that valve, that pressure meter. You need to have very specific needs that are industrial needs in order to need that valve. What industrial needs they may have that they need a specific water pressure? Well, in order to them being able to release water in a consistent way to the toxic gas system, they need to have very controlled the pressure of the water. They also have another valve here that I will try to move. It's not movable, it's really hard. Nobody knows of what this is, this valve. When I was little, they have another valve here. It is gone, but I am sure it was there. Besides the valves I already showed you, they have another valve, water valve, here. Why they need several water valves? Because for some chemical reactions, they do need water that comes from the street, tap water. And they need it in a very controlled way with a specific pressure. So, in order to keep the vapors of the toxic gas in functioning, they absolutely need know the pressure and know how to open and close it. All right? Also, if they need purified water, pure water for some mixes, well, they will have their rain tanks. Until I ruined them, I added Clorox. And besides that, if they need purified water, well, I will show you where they're getting it. They don't need the bottles you saw in the back part of the house in the first video. They have there a whole cisterna that have purified water. They can add a purifier to the water there perfectly. And here you have the tube system that can transport the water to the main toxic tank system. It's very easy to manipulate this. So, now you have the water needed for the toxic gas tanks to be able to function and to emanate toxic vapors. You have water supply. What do you need also? Pressure release systems. I mean, when there is a toxic gas system, you need points, especially in case of emergency, where you can release toxic gas so you don't have an implosion here. And if you know how to observe them, they are here. I will show the very first one, most evident. This one. You see that? It's a 5 inches diagonal in Spanish pipe that comes from this zone. That is impossible to be a water drainage for the position that it is, but it is not the only pressure release point. If you know what to look, you will find them. This is the main second one, and I have seen this one open somewhere in the past. Now it's sealed with paint, but I have seen it open. Look at the position of the pipe is upwards. That is not a water drain system. Now, you will find here a very interesting pipe that you won't see in any domestic normal setting. The pipe is upwards. It's like this, but upwards. It's not like this. It will be the direction of a water drainage. This is a toxic gas venting system. They are using pipes, PVC pipes of ducts. Well, if you know how to see the whole house, you will find this is another awkward place to have that. Once again, awkward glass squares, but let's now focus in the venting systems. Look at that. You see it? It's backwards. It doesn't go. It's not a drain system that comes from the rooms. It's backwards. It is a venting pipe for gas. We simply fix the attention now to the upper part of the house. Please notice the pattern of the glass squares because it will be discussed later. Here you have a second very clearly gas venting spot. Here. You see that there are no any watermarks coming from those tubes? No algae, no watermarks, no nothing. And this house was painted very long time ago, about 2-3 years. It's backwards. I'm sorry, Princess, my dog is barking, but I need to do this right now. I cannot get her out because the progenitor can come back in any moment. There, and look how much glass is in that zone. That is a bathroom and a storage room. That is the zone in which more glass squares are in the whole house. That is also another gas vent. You once again don't see any kind of water stain. We keep going. If you are a very despierto people, an awake up people, you will notice details already, but I'm simply going step by step. There you have another gas vent. Once again, if you see that zone, there are no signs at all of water there. You see it? They even have cement there. Cement stains. But look how awkward is this. They're supposedly putting a water drainage to another roof. Here you have another gas system, vent system there. The things gets more awkward, and I will explain right now why. We need to go to the second floor right now. And this will be the final explanation of the vent systems. Hey, I haven't seen that one. There is another vent there. Excuse me. I didn't saw that one. That is new. Once again, you see it's a curve. Right? But let's now go to the second floor because the detail is not minor. You see now the second floor. Look at the roof. They have vents, PVC tubes coming to the roof. That cannot be water drainage because, well, it's not the way architects and engineers do that, especially in a roof. You're supposed to have tubes in the corners. Look also that the zone is like with a concrete border. Look at this place. This is the place in which the tube that comes from the roof will come down. Do you imagine draining water from a roof there? Being an engineer, the one who built this was an engineer, the one who built the house was an architect. Of course, you need both to be able to design something like this. We'll try to do a very... Would you drain water there in that spot when you know there are no exits to the water? Well, those are also toxic gas vents. And even you can see that there are very strange cables going down there. Those cables are not supposed to be like that. As a matter of fact, there are strange electrical cords going from the roof to that zone. So, well, this will be the basic elements of the toxic gas system of this house of tortures. Just to let you know, the main system through what they pass on the toxic gas are the windows, the door frames, and the air conditioners. It can be amazing to you to know these windows are custom made and they have holes inside to put toxic gas pipes, small plastic pipes of around 3 mm size. This will be all of video 1, 2, introduction to